Hello Scouts, Ian here. Today we're going to be talking about axes and saws. As everything, it's always about safety first. So obviously, adequate safety boots, or rather nice tough boots, not sandals or trainers, things like that. Leather is best. Trousers, or which we call longs, just to protect your legs if you've got them. Safety glasses, and obviously gloves to protect your hands. So they are very important. Now, the axe itself should have its mask on it. The mask protects from the blade, the sharp part. We have a wedge on top, which you've got to make sure that it is secure and the head is secure. And then we've got the shoulder. And the shoulder shouldn't be damaged. And in this case, there is a screw that holds the whole thing together. Then we've got the half. This is the bit we hold, making sure that hasn't got any splinters and things like that in it, and it's in good condition. Then we have the toe and the heel. Now the blade, believe it or not, is not called the blade, it's called the bit. And the bit is very, very sharp. Very sharp, Mr. Finn. Yes, it is. It's just as sharp as a camp knife. Yes, it is, Mr. Finn. Now, always make sure that has got its mask on it when you're not using it, and most importantly, make sure that you know where this is. Put it somewhere safe, because there's nothing worse than losing this and not knowing we can't protect the blade. If for a short time you're not going to be using the axe, put it into your chopping block. It is essential to have a chopping block of some sort. We don't want to be chopping on the ground, do we, Mr. Finn? No, we don't, because that will make the axe blunt. We don't want a blunt axe, do we, Mr. Finn? Because when we're processing wood, I know your teeth are very good, when we're processing wood, we want a sharp axe. Yes, we do. Now, obviously, safety, we need a chopping area. Now, the chopping area, believe it or not, can be worked out quite easily. It's the length of your arm plus 3 times the length of the half. In this case, my chopping area is a bit too small, but this is for demonstration purposes only, and there's nobody else around apart from Mr. Finn. Now, this is okay for processing wood for scouts, etc. If we're processing large wood, we use a felling axe, and this sort of thing can only be used with the leaders, etc. because these things are very heavy and also very long. Now, obviously, the chopping area needs to be somewhere close or next to wherever you're going to be having your fire. And that area, of course, has got to be away from any tents. Also, you want to be able to, when you're processing the wood, when anything goes onto the ground, it needs to be cleared. Now, if the ground which you're using, or the campsite you're using, needs to be 100% clean, no evidence of we being there before, then you might want to put a tarpaulin down to catch all the chippings. And as for the actual area itself, you want an area where you've got the wood to cut and the wood which you've processed. And obviously you want to process the wood so there's large to small. As I say, these axes are very sharp, as you can see, straight through. And that's an axe. Now, for chopping, we want to make sure we've got our safety boots on, or walking boots. We want to kneel on the ground, and we want to have it so the chopping block so that we when we swipe down, we're not swiping an arc through ourselves. So that when we get the wood, we then hold the wood nice and secure. Make sure that the wood won't rotate. I'm using another piece of wood here just to guide things. Put it in the centre of your chopping block. We don't chop onto the ground, because if you chop onto the ground, it will blunt the axe. So we want to make about 20 to 30 centimetres to make a nice, decent sized log. So that's about that point there. And then we want to go here. What have I forgotten? Gloves. So we put our gloves on. That will protect our hands. And also we want to protect our eyes from any chippings. Not essential, but it's. But if you get a chipping in your eye, it really is annoying. So we want to come in at an angle like that, not too steep, otherwise the blade it'll just glance off. So that sort of angle, sort of 10-15 degrees, and we want to try and chop into the same place. As you can see, I'm alternating between one side and the other, and trying to chop into the same area. There we go, nearly through. And sometimes you don't need to go all the way through, you just break it off. And now we have a nice, decent sized log. Now, don't get rid of all these chippings, because those chippings there are ideal for getting your fires started. So have an area for that, and then put the log down. There are other types of wood, which we are often using at Corfe or other campsites, which is pallet wood. Now, sometimes we use pallet wood to get fires going because we know it's going to be dry, but we don't want to be doing this. It's too near the hand. So sometimes if you just put the block down like so, and then we can cut that way. As you can see, it goes quite nicely. If you've got a piece of wood like that, which you want to cut that way, it is a bit too difficult. So what we can do is utilise another piece of wood, and we make it as a mallet. Here's one I made earlier. And don't use the mallets for putting all tents up, because it will break. This is a single piece of wood, and what we can do is put our axe onto the top of it, like so, and then we can use this as a mallet to cut the wood, like so. And that way it's perfectly safe. Now, as you saw, when I'm cutting the wood, there's quite a lot of energy, so sometimes it's better to use another piece of equipment, to say, is the saw. The saw has got lots and lots of teeth, so it has a guard on, a safety guard on it, just in case of a bit of electrical conduit, and that should be on at all times, because there's not just one knife on it, there's like 100 little knives on there which will cut. And here's one I made in the forest. This is a frame saw which packs down to absolutely nothing, and you can practically put that in your rucksack. And to keep things from not going rusty, put either linseed oil or vegetable oil, or even fat off your bacon, and that will stop things going rusty. And the best thing to do when you're cutting wood with a saw is overhang it this time. Keep your hand well away, and if you've got somebody else to hold it, better still. So, I hope that will help in your next camp. In over.